some of the best games that I've ever played in my career, I haven't gotten a sack on. I've gotten quarterback hits, but I haven't gotten a sack, man. A sack, people don't understand how hard it is, man. If you play 700 snaps and you get 10 sacks, you're one of the best in the NFL.
In the world.
But just think about it. 10 sacks out of 600 reps. The percentage is so low. You got to beat your man. The quarterback has to hold the ball. You can't hit him below the knees or above the waist. The coverage in the back end has to hold up. Once you get there, I'm tackling a dude like Josh Allen, who's 6'5", 240, running a 4.5. So that's a whole new set of challenges. So there's so much that goes into it.
Welcome to the Greenlight Podcast presented by BetMGM. If you haven't signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code GREENLIGHT, and you will get up to a $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here's how it works. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code GREENLIGHT. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. If that bet loses, you will receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets. Just make sure you use bonus code GREENLIGHT when you sign up. All right, I'm joined now by a brand new Minnesota Viking, and Eagles fans are going to be excited to hear that he's not in the division anymore because he was hell to play against for everybody in that division. Jonathan Allen, welcome to the show, dude.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Super excited.
How does it feel to get ready to wear LSU colors?
It's weird. It's weird. I really envisioned my entire time in the NFL being on the Commanders. So this is definitely an adjustment, but I mean, it's the NFL. You know how it is. Very few people play their entire career with one team. You're always changing, always adapting and adjusting. So it's definitely going to be a change, but I'm excited. I really am.
Yeah, you got to be psyched, man. We were just talking offline. We got to go up there last year for training camp, and I was blown away by the facility, man. You talk about, like, I remember when I visited Washington in free agency, and not to dog the facility back in 2016, but it wasn't much going.
No.
And getting to see Minnesota, I mean, that's some state-of-the-art shit right there. And right down to, they got Aquapana in the refrigerators. You're drinking like $50 water at the facility. Were you blown away when you went and visited?
I was. I mean, the one thing we were always told in college is once you get to the NFL, the facilities aren't nice. Just everything's not as nice. Like, as far as just how much money is being spent on the players, college, one of the top programs, is usually the best. But man, when I came here and I seen they have kombucha and they just had all the drinks in the fridge and the facilities, I was just like, wow. Like, I feel like I've been cheated my last 8 years. I'm like, these guys over here living like this is incredible.
Dude, I was blown away. I started stretching. I was like, maybe I got a couple more years in me if I could play up here. And for you, especially coming from Bama, where everything's like like it's what a pro facility should be, right?
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, I think as you get older, you realize that the day in and day out work you put on your body is just as important as the film study and the weightlifting. So just talking to these guys up here and just how they just really focus on giving you to perform at your best when your best is needed, I was just like, man, I love that.
You talk about I heard you talk about the culture and that being a big part of, what was going to make that decision for you in free agency. When you've been with one team for a long time, you don't know what it's like other places, but what was it about this culture that set them apart in your opinion?
Yeah, no, I mean, the Commanders had a really great culture last year, and that was the hardest part about leaving. And when I was going into free agency, I told myself that I want to choose a team that has an established culture. I mean, I'm sure there's nothing worse than going to work and being around the guys who are only there to collect a paycheck, only there for their own personal numbers. And there's nothing wrong for wanting that, but I don't feel like you got to choose winning in that. And when you hear Coach O'Connell and Coach Flores just talk about the culture and how they do things day in and day out, I'm like, that's refreshing. That's the kind of guys I want to be around. That's kind of the coaches that I want to play for. I want to play hard for it. So I'm just so excited. I can't state enough how great the culture has been, from how they treat their families to how they treat the players. It's just incredible.
You said something that, I was wondering with you for 7 years. I remember I have the date here, October 22nd, 2023, that famous post-game rant from you where you're like, I'm tired of this shit. It's been 7 years of this. And as a guy who played for a lot of losing teams the first 8 years of my career before I changed teams, I know how you feel. And I'm wondering how hard it was when ownership changes. It looks like it's going the right direction. You got that dynamic rookie quarterback who's going to be incredible. And you're like, damn, I got to leave now. I bet it softens the blow to go to Minnesota, but is part of you like, geez, they got their shit together and now I got to go?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, I've always thought I was going to finish my career in Washington, and in the perfect world, I probably would have finished it there. But God has other plans for me, and I always just remember Coach Saban saying that at the on the other side of something that's challenging, uncomfortable, difficult is usually what you've been looking for all along. So, I mean, this is just an opportunity for me to grow. I don't think I could have found a better organization and team to come to for what I wanted. Like my agent and my financial guy are already in Minneapolis. So I was going up there every year, 2, 3 times a year. My wife loves it. She already has a bunch of friends out there. She's from the Midwest. So it's honestly, this is probably the dream situation.
Man, that's awesome. Who are you most excited to play with? Because it feels like they already had a really good defensive line. I feel like you're the missing piece, but also they're adding a lot of beef up front, man. They brought a couple big O linemen in, and obviously you and Hargrave, who was a hell of a player in Philly and had a stint in San Francisco. You look up and down that line. Is there somebody you're psyched to line up next to the most?
Yeah, man, I'm excited to play with Javon Hargraves. Like we've known each other for a good little bit. We've always been competitors since he's been in Philly and I was in Washington. So to be able to play with him is exciting. JG and Van Ginkel, I mean, these are just great. I think they both made All Pro last year. So I mean, those two guys alone, you know what they're about. And be able to play for Coach Flores, just like the mad scientist, as Coach O'Connell calls him, just like his mindset on 1 week you're a 3-4, next week you're a 4-3, you're bringing two, you're dropping 8, 9, like it just all over the place. So I'm excited to be able to play in that scheme and see how I can help this team improve.
Isn't that funny the way you just put it? Because like you're talking about a scheme, but the scheme changes with him to suit whoever you're playing. So, one question I have for you was, do you prefer an odd or an even front? But you're going to get plenty of both, and you're also going to get a lot of calls right before the damn ball snapped, because that defense has layers to it. Have you talked to B-Flow yet about your role, and also have you gotten an idea of how in depth the system is for him?
Yeah, we talked a little bit, and he definitely wants to create space inside. I mean, he's able to generate a lot of one-on-ones for his guys, which as a defensive lineman, that's like a dream situation. As
Mm-hmm.
far as the scheme, it's a lot, but that's good. I feel like the more adaptable you are as a defense, the harder it is for offenses to get a beat on you. And I mean, at the end of the day, we play defensive line, man. As long as you're going the right way and you're doing it violently and physical, you'll be right 99% of the time.
One thing I notice about that group is they always rush as a team well, and this. It's not just can you win your one-on-ones, like y'all got to work together, and the guy next to you has to understand, hey, if I'm high, I'm rapping. If John's high, I'm going to rap underneath. It becomes a feel thing. You don't even have to talk about it. Like when me and Fletch played, I just look at Fletch and we know what was going on. How long does it take to get that going, and how exciting is it to play with guys that seem to already be in that mindset together?
It's awesome. I mean, it'll definitely take some time, but the older you are, the more experienced you are, the more adaptable and easy to adjust your game it is. And since we're a pretty veteran group up front, I think we'll be able to get things going relatively quickly. And like you hit the nail on the head. Like when I think about rushing together, I think about that video Cam Jordan was speaking about how sacks are an inflated number. Now, obviously, sacks are super important, but I always tell guys that sacks are situational. I
Yeah.
mean, if you look at a game and I had 2 sacks, that doesn't necessarily mean I had a great game. You know what I mean? Like if I beat my guy every time, but the quarterback gets rid of it quickly, that doesn't
Yeah.
mean I had a bad game. You know what I mean? So it's hard to just focus on sacks, and it's tough because that's why we get paid. But I mean, rushing as one as an interior guy, if we're able to get the quarterback to move off his spot, make him have to hitch and try to, run outside or get to a secondary, that just helps everybody else. And when the ends are collapsing the pocket from the outside and we're getting that push inside, I like to say the quarterback decides who gets the sack at that point.
Yeah, the quarterback does decide. And, what you said, it definitely rings true. Like sacks are certainly a measure of success, but there's no substitute for watching the tape
Yeah.
and seeing, hey, what went on in this game. And, I'm sure you've had these days where you walk out and maybe you got a goose egg next to your name and people are like, my least favorite thing I'd hate to hear was, I didn't hear your name called all game on the broadcast. I'm like, who gives a flying what about the broadcast? They're watching the ball.
Yeah. I mean, unless you know someone who's played defensive line at a high level, most people don't know what they're looking at. Now, in today's age, you can look online and you can find people on Twitter who are trying to coach the position up. But even with my family, like I had to coach them up. Like just because I don't get a sack doesn't mean I'm not affecting the game. Some of the best games that I've ever played in my career, I haven't gotten a sack on. I've gotten quarterback hits, but I haven't gotten a sack, man. A sack, people don't understand how hard it is, man. If you play 700 snaps and you get 10 sacks, you're one of the best in the NFL.
in the world.
But just think about it, 10 sacks out of 600 reps. The percentage is so low. You got to beat your man. The quarterback has to hold the ball. You can't hit him below the knees or above the waist. The coverage in the back end has to hold up. Once you get there, I'm tackling a dude like Josh Allen, who's 6'5", 240, running a 4.5. So that's a whole new set of
Yeah.
challenges. So there's so much that goes into it that is, I don't want to say that it's not important because obviously it is. Like if you go out the game and have 4 sacks, you had a great game. But there's so much that goes into it that the everyday fan doesn't understand. And honestly, I don't even blame them because there's just so much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's hard to blame them. I mean, and the fractions of time are a big one. You talked about the back end holding up. It's got to be exciting because, well, there's a couple things that make it a rusher's dream up there. The guys you're playing with, they're not run by the quarterback guys, right? Like they're gonna be at 8 yards and 4 step ups, and they're gonna play with power. Grenard plays with power, and then you got some guys that play up in coverage and they're
Yeah.
aggressive. And then the third thing I love is you can't hear yourself think in that building.
It's going to be so fun. It's going to be so fun. I remember we played there in 2019 on Thursday night, and I just thought that was one of the coolest experiences. Actually got a sack that game, and it was just, I just always remember saying, like, man, it would be so cool to play here more often. And
So it's been in your head.
yeah, look at it.
Yeah, look at that, man. That's awesome. So, stop and play action pass, power running teams, like there's some teams, namely Detroit, in your division that the run game's a big part of it, and they're going to keep you off your rhythm by play action and those type of things and a lot of motion. And it feels like Gibbs and those guys are going sideline to sideline a million miles an hour. What's the key to slowing down to Detroit? Like you just went in and did it. You guys just went in and did it in the playoffs. And then when it comes to transitioning, getting those opportunities when they come in play action, what's the key to actually converting?
I think the easy answer is obviously turnovers. You get turnovers, you win the game for the most part. I think the hard answer, especially for the inside guys, is don't get bored. When you play a team like Detroit, it can get very boring with a lot of the outside runs, the passes, the trick plays. You really don't have a chance to get there. But I always tell my guys, 3 or 4 plays a game, you're going to have a great opportunity to make a big play. But you can't get bored with the rest of the game because a lot of times you're just playing double teams. They're playing duo, they're outside zone, your backside, just being disciplined. And that's what it is. They test every single player's discipline. So as a defensive tackle, I always say, don't get bored. And when you get your opportunities, you got to make them count.
No question. And then sometimes don't make shit up when when
Exactly.
it's the third quarter and you don't have one on your name yet.
Yeah, but I'm telling you,
You
it's
try
a
to scheme
challenge,
a
man.
double team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a challenge, man. When the game's been going on for like 40 plays, you have no tackle, no nothing. You're like, man, I just want to affect the game. And the minute you swim the gap, 60 up the middle, especially with those running backs.
No question, man. What was that like going up there? I mean, if I was talking to Ertz throughout the season, and Zach was so confident, and obviously having Jayden helps, but it just felt like coming into that game, you didn't buy the hype.
Yeah,
And I don't know if like you remember getting on the bus or meeting before the game, or was that the sense in the group that like, hey, we don't buy the hype, we don't care who it is, they put their pants on like us. I mean, that's the way the game played out.
yeah, no, we felt like going into that game was going to be a game in the trenches, and I felt like we liked our odds in the trenches, and we just knew that physically we felt like we could do what we wanted to do, and obviously that comes with the confidence of having a whole season behind us, having a great season. And to be honest, when you have a guy like Jayden Daniels, it was we have him and you don't, and we knew we could rely on him. And I mean, he showed he can make the big plays when it counts. When they're able to bring more than you're able to block, and you can still scramble for 40 yards, it makes it challenging.
Well, it's like the end of the Tampa game with the game on the line, the quarterback run option. I
It's
mean,
safe.
I hate to be a left end playing that kid.
What do you do? What do you do? Honestly, you just take your shot. That's all you can do. Take your
Yeah.
shot where you make the play.
Is he really that like his stride in person? Zach called him the fastest guy in the field at times. It felt like when you see him in practice open up, is it like a deceptive stride that he's got?
Yeah, you remember in like Pee Wee football when every team would put their most athletic player at quarterback.
Yeah.
It's like that, but then he also is a great passer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like he truly is a dual threat. You know what I mean? I mean, athletic wise, it's going to be tough to find a guy on the defense who can one on one make that play. That's why it's so important to play as 11 as one. Everyone has to be so disciplined with the cutbacks. Everyone has to be a force player. Has to be guys running backside. It really is 11 on one effort. And when you get there, you got to be a sure tackler.
I thought y'all's group last year was a lot of fun to watch. I've always liked Fowler, and I was excited to see him have that success. And I'm a big Armstrong fan.
Yeah,
I think he's a dog, and I thought the play he made in Detroit in the red zone was one of the biggest of the year.
yeah,
You know what
yeah.
I mean? Getting the ball off Goff in a game where it's going to go back and forth.
I mean, they got some great players there. You know,
Yeah.
I think we had times where we struggled last year, but that's the thing about the NFL. You could do everything right for 10 plays, and on the 11th play, one guy messes up and 60 out the gate, and that's kind of what we struggle with. Just popcorn defense. One mistake here, one little mistake there, but then you go back and you look at the film, and it's like we had 5 mistakes. But I mean, I tell fans all the time the difference between winning and losing is probably 5 or 6 plays. If they swing the other way, who knows what the momentum's going to be like? Just how it just changes everything.
No question. I was going to ask you about the NFC Championship game. I was up there watching in Philly, and it felt like y'all's game plan was we're going to possess the football, and we're going to make the most of our possessions and come up a little short on offense in a couple situations. That team was so good; they're like a wave. Once they get on you, it's really hard. The one question about that game I had, and hopefully you can look back and chuckle a little bit about this one sequence. Can you take me inside the moment where they're tush pushing and you guys are jumping and saying, fuck it, we'll do it again. We'll do it again. Like,
I
what was
mean,
happening?
that play is pretty. I mean, we all know it's pretty much unstoppable. And me
Yeah.
being the nose guard right over the ball, it's like I'm a sacrificial lamb, dude. Like I'm not like I'm dang near laying on the ground before the play, just like whatever happens, happens. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just such a tough play. Is like you have to try to get any advantage you get. So
Yeah.
jumping over the pile, maybe hitting Jalen Hurts dissuades them from doing it. The whole league is searching for an answer to that play. So I think we stopped it a couple times last year more than anybody else. So I mean, best advice: just don't let them get on the 1 yard line.
Yeah. Like, don't let them get in third and short or fourth
Yeah,
and short. Like, get more aggressive on third and medium, maybe. I don't know.
yeah, exactly. You have to, or the
Because,
NFL.
yeah, they put it in the league meetings. They're proposing to get rid of it. Do you think they should get rid of it?
It depends. I just think, what is the goal? Are we trying to produce the best product? Because if you're asking my opinion, I think it's just an ugly play. Not safe. Chris
It's
Jones got
ugly
hurt.
in 31 cities.
Yeah,
It's
you
pretty
know
in
what I
one
mean? Like
state.
it just Chris Jones got hurt in the Super Bowl because of it. I
Yeah.
say just get rid of it. That's just my opinion.
Okay. All right. We got one vote in the column of get rid of it. Here's another thing I would like to get rid of, and maybe now that you're gone from Washington, you can agree with me. Is that freaking stadium is like a public safety hazard. The damn stands were falling on Jalen Hurts. There was human feces coming out of pipes rumored a couple years ago. What do we got to do to get a new stadium in Washington? And did you ever feel unsafe playing in that stadium?
I never felt unsafe, and I'll give a lot of credit to Mr. Harris. He came in and he did a lot of renovations.
Yeah.
Problem is, you know how it is in DC, the politics. I
Yeah.
think DC owns RFK, so you have to go through them and then you have to go through the government, and there's just so much going on. And we're like already landlocked in that area. We're playing in Maryland, we're practicing in Virginia with the DC. It's just so much going on. I can't imagine how long it's going to take. I'm probably going to say 10, 15, 20 years to get a stadium. I mean, who knows?
You'll come back and be recognized in the new stadium, and you'll be like, "Damn, this is state of the art. Why didn't they have that?" But right now, I think it's dangerous. That's just me talking. John didn't say it. I said it. I think it's damn dangerous, and they should put a new one up. The last player I wanted to ask you about in Washington is I think this guy Sanders. Am I saying his name right?
Yeah, Mikey Sanders still.
Is he a dog or what?
He's an animal, dude. Like I never forget. Coach Saban called him. I don't know how he said it. He either said like pound for pound the best player in the draft or his favorite player in the draft, something like that. I mean, he's 5'10". I don't know how much he weighs, maybe 180, and he's just a dog. I love Mikey. I love playing beside him. It was so fun.
Is he pretty versatile? Is did he seem to be a guy his first year that was willing to do whatever for the defense. Is kind of the idea I got about him.
I mean, he's almost like a Swiss Army knife. He could play corner, which he did. I mean, he's a phenomenal nickel. I'm sure he could play safety for a little bit if he needed to. I mean, these guys coming out of college are just so pro ready nowadays. Like just because college is pretty much a pro at this point. I mean,
Yeah,
it really is impressive. These guys, these rookies are coming in, spending so much money on their bodies. Already have financial guys, nutritionists. They're just so much more prepared than the NFL than I was, and probably you were. Like coming in your
for
rookie year,
sure.
first time having money, you had no idea what was going on. Like you're just out just head spinning trying to survive. These guys are coming in as pros.
Well, all the stuff they do to take care of their body, you just talked about it. It's like they're already in the league and their training regiments are already. But that's Bama, like at UVA at Virginia. We're still an ACC school here,
Still a
but
little behind.
you're still a little behind. So I was wishing when I found out that you were from Ashburn, I was like, what were we doing? We never called you.
You guys did, but for the longest, I wanted to go to Virginia Tech, and they
Oh,
took their offer away from me twice because they said I was too small. To this day, I never forget that.
yeah. Well,
Never,
you and I hate them now.
never forget that.
All right, there we go. That's good. Yeah, good. All
Yeah.
right, so you seem like a guy who really like you're obviously a great ball player and ball, but like there's knowing ball and then there's really paying attention and being on the details. And I wonder, how do you watch film? Like, what's your process? You got an opponent this week. You obviously have two guards to look at, a center. I don't know if they ever line you up in a five, but you might look at the tackles. But like, what's the sequencing for you in your prep week for people at home wondering how a great defensive tackle in the NFL prepares?
I like to start out just by watching a game or two. I like to get a flow of what do they like to do. You know what I mean, obviously we get the breakdown of 45% inside zone out of 12 personnel, 13 like those numbers are great, but I like to watch the game. Like you watch the lines, like, hey man, they're going to attack your edges and they're going to try to cut it back. I like to see how just how they move, the offensive line plays together. And once I get a feel for that, then I'm looking at the guys specifically, like, he's really, really aggressive on his double team. So if I can, I'm gonna try to swim him, and then that's gonna soften him up. Or he's not aggressive on double team, but he's not gonna be able to be swim. So I need to play it straight up. On pass rush, is he a 1-2 combination guy? God forbid he's a two-hand puncher. Those are the best guys to go
Oh,
against.
goodbye, dude.
Oh my God! You get excited when you see a two-hand puncher. How does a center? Does he set? Does he declare early? God, I would love that. You run time games all day, so it's kind of just trying to get a feel for how they play. I mean, you look at Philadelphia. The thing that makes them tough is they play so well together, and there's not a lot of room to take shots. You know what I mean? The guards are big. The inside guys that they've had Kelsey the whole time, so they play really well together. I'm looking, this guy doesn't play well, or that left tackle when he feels like he's going against a really good end, he scooses out just a little bit more and he's out of there. He's not hand dragging. So, week to week, you kind of have an idea of who you're playing against if you've been in the league long enough, and or you try to catch on to tendencies and try to pick out any little advantage you do. But I don't spend too much time on film because I feel like I start guessing at that point. But
Yeah, overthinking you can.
yeah, just enough to like, okay, this is the feel of what I'm getting. This is how I want to attack them this week, and then I go from there.
Yeah, I feel like coming in a game with a plan and coming in and being robotic, it's a thin line.
Yeah,
Like you want to have a plan, but you got to have your curveball and your off speed pitches. And like I can remember thinking I was going to run a guy over because I saw it on film, and then I can't.
yeah,
Like you know what I mean? Like
it's
everybody's
just
different.
different. Yeah,
Styles make fights,
yep.
and so I think one of the things that when you play Philly kind of sucks, I would imagine, is there's no fish. Like, we used to sit in there and argue over who gets to rush over who, and you being like the main dude, I bet you that was your choice a lot of the time. But like when you play Philly, it's like you said, there's no weakness.
There's really not. And I mean, Philly's had a great offensive line since I've been in the league. I mean, when I first came in, it was Jason Peters. It was oh my God, I say his name wrong. The Simone,
Isaac Samalu.
yes, him
Because
fire.
was your rookie year 17?
Yes, the year they won the
Yep.
Super Bowl.
Yep. Yep.
So then you got younger Jason Kelsey. God, people don't. Brandon Brooks, the biggest human being I have ever seen. Like he was just a monster. He was so big. There was no room. It was just a nightmare. Then you had a young Lane Johnson. It was just like, hey man, it's a dogfight.
I think Lane is as good as anybody in the league. I mean, like I'm trying to be chill about it. I think he's probably the best tackle of the last 5-8 years. Him and Trent, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I mean, the media hypes up who they like. So
Right.
like there's like the media opinion and then the fan opinion and like the player's opinion. And I
Yeah.
feel like they very rarely like agree on certain things, but the way the media talks about Lane Johnson, you're like, honestly, you can't even hate on it. Like they're right.
Dude, I can tell you, I know it probably hearing about him from the outside in. Like I had to rush against him every day in practice, and yeah, I was old, but like I never played anybody like that. Like a guy who can wait for you at the spot, like he's waiting for the bus, dude. And he's an underhand puncher, so he absorbs power really well. He's crafty. He can 1-2 you, the whole thing. And he's got Stoutland, that coach. You can tell
Oh my
when
gosh,
you play them,
incredible.
they're so well coached. So
It
the other
was
guy I was going to
interesting
ask you
this
about
year.
was Zach Martin with him retiring.
Oh my gosh.
That's probably a guy that I want to say keep you up at night, but you're probably like it's Zach Martin week.
You just know going into that week is like, all right, I probably shouldn't eat that cheeseburger. I need to be on my A game this week. You can't really no, I need to be locked in. I need to go to bed this week. I can't be messing around.
What made him so good?
Man, it's just like the guys who have enough power to absorb your power without like selling out makes it so tough. And like I always tell people, like offensive linemen don't need to beat you; they just need to lose slow. You know what I mean? They just need to get in your way long enough. And so like it's hard to beat him quick because he's not going to give you that opportunity. But he's stout enough and has enough balance to where you're not just going to grab him and sling him by. You know what I mean? It's a grind. It's a grind. Some offensive linemen they get lazy at the top of the rush. So if the quarterback holds the ball past 3 seconds, their feet start. Not those guys. Those guys are from the time it starts, from the time it finishes, they're just consistent, and it forces you to be on your A game.
Yeah, it's nothing more embarrassing than when a guy's still blocking you and the ball's gone.
Oh my gosh!
It's demoralizing. And like another guy like that back in the day was Marshall Yonda.
Oh, I heard about him.
Man, he was
Oh,
like it was like he had he had adhesive on him. Like you just
just
couldn't
jumper
get, you know
caking.
what I mean?
Yeah,
And
he
and
grabs
it's
you.
the
It's over
thing
with.
where at the end of the play, you're like, who the fuck just shoved me? You look to the right and it's him. And he's just looking at you. He's not talking. You're like, oh, this is one of those guys a little off.
Yeah, it's just like, all right, bro.
He's
Just
gonna be here all day.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
So
It's so funny when you go against a guy like that. I'm like, if you let him grab you, you might as well just try to bat a ball down. Your down's done. You're not coming off of that.
just don't jump.
Oh my gosh.
Just don't jump. All right. So 2 questions, flip side questions. What's your least favorite play of your career? And what's your favorite play of your career individually?
My least favorite play, it was against the Eagles, and we were running a stunt. And I went to go smash Landon Dickerson, and he slipped me, and I fell into pain. But the way it looked, it made it look like he threw me. So everybody online was like, oh my gosh, look at the way John just got thrown. And I'm like, guys, come on. Like I was running that way. I slipped. I was already off balance. Like, don't make it more than what it
I
is.
know.
You're just like, okay, guys, everybody gets God, but you just made it seem like he just manhandled me and just tossed me. I'm just like, okay, that's not what when you're rushing on a draw play and they slap you in your back and you go
Yes.
front. It was like that. It was like, guys, he didn't just like that's such an overhyped play. Like, okay, he hit a guy in his back and caught him off. Like, whatever.
It's
So,
totally overhyped. And I'll even say it like my boy Lane, he got Von Miller with that like in 17, the year we won.
yeah,
And it was like a highlight play. And, Von's rushing. Like Von's trying to get busy and he's trying to get to 7 yards. And Lane
yeah.
just slaps him in the back, says,
I'm telling you, it
way.
looks way worse than what it really is. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, it wasn't that bad, guys. He just caught me. Like, it was a draw play. The play
Hey.
call got me on that one.
It happens.
It happens to everybody. I'll probably
So
say
give me the best one.
I'll say my favorite play is the sack I got against the Texans. I threw my hump in and kind of just drove the guard directly into the quarterback, on top of the quarterback, and it was just one of those plays where get off felt perfect, pass rush move felt perfect, defensive ends crash, quarterback stepped right up into me. It was just a beautiful play.
Nothing better than sinking a hump and
Oh, man.
actually getting a dude off the ground,
Oh man,
which very few guys can do. You're one of them.
it's like a golf swing when you make that contact and it's just pure. It's just there's no better feeling.
Do you golf?
I'm a big golfer. That's all I do in Florida.
Dude, okay, so next year I'm going to invite you to my tournament. I got my tournament in 2 weeks
Please
in
do.
VA here. So next year, come by. I mean,
Please
shit.
do. That's
Yeah.
literally all I do. It was
Oh,
funny.
really? Okay.
When I was looking at a house in Minnesota, my wife was getting annoyed because I was like, doesn't have a golf simulator. Sorry.
Yeah, well,
buy
we're going to need the simulator because it's going to be so damn cold.
Yeah, it's going to be freezing. So
What are you going to be when you play up in Green Bay? Are you a sleeve guy or no?
no, I've never been a sleeve guy. Like I'm weird. Like my rule is I can only have one piece of like apparel that's for swag. So either visor or sleeve, but more than one thing. The first time I saw, like, so if you look in the playoffs this year, I told myself that when I came back from my pec, I was going to have fun. I don't
Yeah.
care. Like, it's just superstition. Don't worry about it. In every single game, I start off with a sleeve, and by the second quarter, it's off. Just because after one bad play, I'm like, I knew it.
It's a sleeve.
Shouldn't have wore the sleeve. I'm trying to look too cool. I'm not focused on what I got to do. So every game
Takes
after
that
I came back
sleeves
from
off.
injury,
Yeah,
yeah,
so I'm with you, bro. Like if it
yeah,
doesn't feel right,
nope,
you got to get rid of it. Well, that's cool, man. I've enjoyed watching you play, and you know I can tell you got a lot of gas left in the tank. The last question is before we let you go, and thanks for being so generous with your time. Do you have any career goals when you look at it, like over the next 5-7 years, that you want to finish? Are there numbers that you're chasing? I mean, obviously you want to win a ring and that sort of thing, but individually for you, what's a benchmark that you look at?
yeah. I would like to get to 100 sacks. I'm at
Ooh, yeah,
41 right now. That's like the big number to like solidify yourself as one of the best
yeah,
pass rushers. So
yeah.
I mean, based on the number I want to hit, I've already told myself I need at least 8 to 9 more years, averaging about 7. If I can do that, that'll put me close to my number. So that's the plan.
Man, and you feel good. You feel good physically. You feel fresh and like you want to play a long time.
I feel good. I've ever since like my 2 years ago, I've always decided that I think I want to be like that guy that plays like 16, 17, kind of like Calais Campbell. I
Yeah.
definitely see myself in that role, but I mean, only God knows, you know what I mean? It comes down to how does my body feel? Lord willing, if I win a Super Bowl in the next 2, 3 years, who knows how I'll feel after that? But until I even get to that game, it's like I have to give it everything I got to get to that opportunity.
My prediction: you win a ring, you get to 100, and then you want to go play golf.
Oh,
It might not take 7-8 years, bro. Uh, well, good luck to you. I hope you get it, and I hope you guys have a great year and come on again and good luck, man. Tell B Flow I said hello.
will do. Appreciate you for having me on, brother.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.